One thing I want to talk about is stop blaming others for things that you can control. So, a constant theme that I see is people blaming other individuals for certain things that you have control over. So, a lot of people, they blame their parents. That's a perfect example. They blame yeah. They blame their parents for certain things that they haven't taught them, or a certain way of being, or things that their parents did to them. Yes, I can understand there's always a fine line between wrong and right. Well, one thing you have to understand is your parents only got to experience having a child once. It's their first time, having a child. So they might not know everything that they're supposed to know. It's you as an individual who has to compensate for whatever they weren't able to teach you. So one thing I may see is, oh, my parents never taught me about financial stability. My parents were never financially stable. So it's their fault that I'm not financially stable. That's something that you can control. You could have went out your way to go learn that thing. So in turn, in your future, you can be financially stable. Wherever your parents lacked in knowledge, that's where you're supposed to pick up the slack instead of sitting down and being a victim. There's a lot of experiences that we have with our parents or other individuals. I'm just using parents as an example because this is one of the most common things that I see. People always blaming their parents for certain things that they haven't learned, or certain skills or manners that they don't have. But if you know your parents didn't teach you this, if you know that this individual didn't teach you this, it's your choice to go learn that thing instead of playing victim to your situation. We all have control over our situations to an extent. I focus on what you can control. Do not focus on what is out of your reach or what you cannot control. You need to focus on what you can control, what you can do for yourself. So ask yourself, am I operating out of a mindset of abundance, or am I operating out of scarcity? A lot of people operate out of scarcity. Oh, whatever cards I was given, that's the only cards I get. I'll boo-hoo, I'm gonna sit down and cry. If your parents didn't teach you emotional control, you have to teach yourself. If your parents didn't teach you how to invest, you have to learn how to invest yourself. If your parents never started a business for themselves, okay, then you start a business for your children. Pick up where your parents left off, because the thing is, oh, I'm going into a whole rant. That's a whole nother thing. It's just very disappointing on people. Like, people will sit here and they don't take accountability for themselves. They rather sit here and push it on somebody else and then remain the same. Okay, yeah. Take accountability for what you can control. Stop blaming others for things that you can control. Oh, it's my fault. It's not my fault that I was raised eating this way. Okay, then change the way that you eat. Oh, it's not my fault that I was treated this way in my household, so I ended up being like this. Okay, you were treated that way, so in turn become a better person, so when you have your own children, you could treat them differently. Don't repeat the cycle. It's not worth it at all, because you want to know what it is? You're going to put the same thing that you experienced, maybe even 10 times worse, because generational curses, they get worse and worse as time goes on. So if you spread that to your children, just know you messed up your children's children. If your child doesn't have that mindset of change. You have to always be in a state of learning. You always have to be in a state of growth, because that's where you'll change and shift as a person. When you sit down in that stage of growth, you'll be like a tree. Slowly but surely, you're growing every day. People might not notice it until one day they walk past and they say, damn, look how big that tree got. Whatever you can control in your life, whether that be your weight, whether that be your finances, whether that be your mentality, whether that be your mental health, get control of that. Because there's a lot of things we cannot control in life. And those are the things that we focus on. We need to focus on what we can control. Because the thing about something that you can't control is it'll kill you. If you worry about something that you can't control, it'll kill you internally. So worry about what you can control and stop blaming others for things. Stop blaming your parents. Stop blaming yourself. Just take accountability. Pick up where they left off, or pick up where you left off. You're the only one who can save you. There's other people out here putting in the work and you're not. So it's all on you. At the end of the day, don't sit down and be a victim, because we are not victims. We always conquer. We come together, we conquer. Love, peace, unity, all that. It's creation and elevation. I'm gone.